Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dungeoneers Tavern. My name is Knuckle Warlock. Coming back at you again with Eldritch Defender and Lightraizy. First, let me ask, how are y'all doing today?
Good.
The voices in my head are telling me that they are doing fine.
That's wonderful, wonderful. I guess. Anyway,
Anyways, wonderful.
today's videos we are going to be talking about Session Zeros, what they are, and why they are so extremely important
Mhm.
to your tabletop TTRPG tables. Who's going to start off this discussion with what Session Zero is?
Session 0 is the session that takes place before Session 1. Session
Mhm.
1 is when you leap into the game and start hacking up monsters and monologuing about what your character would do and why they would do it. But Session
Yeah.
0 is a little bit of preparation before you begin hacking and slashing and monologuing.
Mhm. Session 0 is an important part of the preparation of a game. It informs not only the DM but the players of what they want out of the game and possibly what to avoid depending on the characters or players.
Indeed. I personally am a big fan of leaping right into gameplay in my games, but at the same time, that's not actually a good idea. Don't
Yeah.
be like me. I'm not smart. But, anyways, good reasons why you should do a session 0 is because a session 0 can help you get your players into the world. Like, if your
Mhm.
player rolls up with a character who's a monk who likes to wield fists, but in your world everything is made of concrete that will break the fists of anyone who tries to hit it, then your monk's not going to have time to roll up a new character in between. That's not a good example. But a good example would be like a, a
Yeah.
cleric, a priest of Asmodeus, when really Asmodeus doesn't exist, cause Martin Ligations, the demon prince of your world, crushed his face with an Astolfo body pillow or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives a good chance to tell a bit of pre-game lore about your world and what the players will need to know about as they are as they are making a character.
Yeah,
Al-
you want
Also,
character.
Session Zeros are very important. Like, let's say you're working with a group of new players, people you have never
Yeah.
met before, for Game Masters. Session Zero is kind of important, not only to introduce them to your world, but also as a bit of an icebreaker. And if you know there will be a consistent theme in your game that might be an issue for some players, tell them during Session Zero.
Mhm.
And if any of the players have any triggers, it is your job as the game master to ask at Session Zero. And if that would cause an issue, then the game is obviously isn't best for them. You have to have everyone else's best interests in mind.
Yep.
Yes. It's also a good way for player characters to get each other's characters connected. Like maybe you have two characters who are both fighters who trained under Sword Saint Ishin from the hit game Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, but they don't have anything in their thing. Maybe at Session 0 they could decide that they are rivals instead of later down the road just realizing, hey, wait, we have that mutual part of our backstory. Huh, interesting. There is literally nothing we can do to retcon this now. Or I mean, they can retcon it, but at the same time, if you retcon it, that's not as good as if you had that vibe between those characters going from the
Yeah.
start.
Another reason Session Zeros are important is so you get a general idea of which players you actually want to keep around. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, there's just a player I just don't want to play a game with them because of the way that they behave and present themselves.
Sometimes that
Like
happens.
Crazy here, I can tolerate. because we've known each other for quite a while. And our first game playing together, I was, of course, the dungeon master. We had an amazing time. I don't know if I ran session 0 for that game though, did I?
I don't think you did. But Nico and I, we like entirely different things playing. I like hacking and slashing stuff. He plays Fiend Warlocks, but doesn't even care about Fireball. So, we just,
Wow.
we are good friends. We tolerate each other very well. We record videos together, but at the same time, sometimes you and your best friend just aren't fit to play in the same game together.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That is perfectly fine. It's just that maybe you want to have a good time, and maybe having to play in a game with that person will interfere with your having a good time. And so yeah, Session Zero is a good way to get a party vibe and see like, yeah, this is I do like playing with this person. This person's cool. Or maybe it's best that we just go play different games.
Yeah.
Also, I as a dungeon master like Session Zero sometimes because it's a good way to world build. Like you roll up to Session Zero with absolutely nothing and you ask your characters, "Hey, where are you from? What are you doing with your life?" And they're like, well, I don't really know anything about your world. You can say, well, then make something up about my world. You are building my world now. And you can force your players to build your campaign setting for you. It's free labor. Sometimes it's child labor if your players are kids, so you may not
As
want to do that.
a
You don't want to get
Oh,
arrested.
as a DM, you can certainly get inspiration from your players' backstories about your world.
oh
Exactly.
yeah. I know me as a DM, one thing I cannot flesh out for the life of me is the minor details of a world. That's something
Mm.
I cannot do, mostly because I've been getting used to just doing grand things, which thankfully for for Sunday, the coming up Sunday game, I'm gonna be able to actually slow down a bit and
Yeah.
get some of the minor details out there.
Yeah, but if you let your players make the minor details for you, they will like that. And it will make your world feel alive and more responsive to them. Like if your player goes up to the guild of the guy and they're like, "Oh wow, this is a guild of a guy." They won't like that as much as if the noble sorcerer walks up to the guild and is like, "Oh, this is the guild that my family owns because I talked with that about my DM in session 0 and we now have decided that my character owns this guild and they're going to have a bit more of an attachment to that place in your world and they're going to have a better time." Session 0 is also a good time to discover if your PC's like power building or not. Because if you have
Yeah.
this guy who rolls up with the Great Weapon Master, Polearm Master, Paladin of smiting everyone into oblivion in 3 fucking seconds, assuming that everyone else will be making similar characters, and then you have the guy who has one
Yeah.
level in every class for the meme, that guy is just gonna be like hitting things with a stick and doing 3 damage, while the Paladin is smiting every single person on the planet into oblivion in 4 seconds, and the power gap's going to be pretty big. So
The
you,
ses- session 0 is also important to know the power level of a game. Because
Oh yeah.
even in the course of singular levels, you could easily get someone doing 2-3 damage per round, and then someone else doing 10-15 damage a round.
yeah, exactly. It's a good time for you to decide if you all want a power build or if none of you want a power build. And sometimes players are going to power build even though no one else is power building. And sometimes people are just going to refuse to optimize their characters even though everyone else is optimized out of infinity. And
Yeah,
sometimes maybe that person just doesn't fit the vibe of your group. If they're power building when no one else is, or if no one else is power building when, or if no one else is like being unoptimized when everyone else is optimized, maybe they should find a different game.
yeah,
Session 0 is a good place to determine if the game that you want to play in is right for you, if the group you want to play with is right for you, it's a good way to set expectations. And expectations, good expectations, knowing what you're getting into, is a good way to ensure that you will enjoy what you're getting into.
Yeah. It also comes to note that as you get to know people and come to play with the same group multiple times over, the session zero isn't as important overall. There's definitely some games where if you know the people, you can just hop right into a game. But if you are starting a game with a brand new group, it is extremely important to run through everything.
Yeah, but also I think you may want to do one anyways if your DM, if you have a new DM for your game. Like,
Yeah.
if you know your friends well and you know you're gonna vibe with them, then the session 0 can be shorter. Heck, it may even
Mhm.
be able to happen before the session 1, and then you just do session 0 and then jump right into the gameplay after that,
Yeah.
after your DM explains everything. But if your DM doesn't have a world ready, or if your DM is waiting for you guys to
Yeah.
ready the world,
That's that's what I call a 0.5 session because it's just right before the actual game. You make sure that you talk to everyone about it, and then if everything is all taken care of within like an hour or two, you can just hop right into a game.
session 0.5, I like that. But
That's
anyways,
how D&D edition has feel.
should we do an outro? Because
Uh,
I think we're almost done. This is a nice short one, and that's good.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, sure. Let's do it. I'll do the outro. Thank you. Just tell me when to start the outro,
Do it.
so you can. All right, everyone. That is all the time we have for this very important video. Uh, hope you guys have enjoyed, and if you did, of course, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and join the Discord. Uh, we love talking to y'all. We love seeing new members join. At least I do.
New
Um,
blood.
exactly.
New sacrifices,
Yes. We don't bite. Much.
maybe.
Maybe. My bite does 1d12 plus 9 damage.
Hmm.
Emotional damage. Nico knows. His hit point maximum was reduced by it.